Hello and welcome to day 13 of the CoronaBLOG, April the 5th. The aims are to learn some English, to escape from our daily routine and see the situation from outside Italy and looking back in. My name's Mark Brophy. Here's some background information and a little information about what I currently do, except for running. Today we're going to look at 2 or 3 difficult words or phrases. First one is confirmation bias. Bias means we do not see things objectively. Confirmation bias means if facts are new, we often find them difficult to see. So here we have a diagram showing objective facts, what we believe to be true, and we only see where the two come together. We don't actually see all of the objective facts. But today we have the internet. We can search on the internet, but we tend just to search for what we want. So we actually just look for the first link that confirms what we already thought. Confirmation bias. Non-linear. Non-linear in a mathematics lesson is easy to understand. It means not in a line or a straight line. In the development of COVID-19, the human brain finds it very difficult to process non-linear. Here we can see the number of cases in Italy. In the middle of February, only 6 or 7 weeks ago, there were 3 or 4 cases. Nothing. 10 days later, here we're going in 10-day gaps. 10 days later, there were 229. That's a big number. We went from 229 in the next 10 days to 3,858. That's getting big. Another 10 days, the middle of March, we had 24,000. That's a lot. The 25th of March, we had 74,000. That's a lot more. We now have over 124,000. So in little more than a month and a half, 7-8 weeks, we've gone from 3 to over 100,000. Who could have predicted this? An article from the Harvard Business Review, a little bit difficult. Recognize your cognitive bias, which is similar to confirmation bias. The confirmation bias, the cognitive bias, is the inability to listen to something new. To figure out means to understand, and our gut feeling is our instinct. So when we're in a completely new situation, we tend to listen to either experts or our inner circle. Our inner circle are our trusted group of advisors. We listen to the inner circle. These 2 facts together, the non-linear and the confirmational cognitive bias, made it extremely difficult for politicians and world leaders to act correctly at the beginning. Today we're looking at a key person. Who is this key person? This is Attilio Fontana. He is the president of Lombardy and has been the president for 2 years. Lombardy, along with some provinces of 2 other regions in the north of Italy, were the first to close schools on the 24th of February. Lombardy, throughout this period, has made some variations on national law. So, over this weekend, we have been preparing in Lombardy for the future. So, masks will be compulsory from the 4th of April onwards for everybody who goes outside in public. This is to prevent the spread of the virus. Entering shops. Shops must provide single-use gloves or antibacterial gel for everybody who enters the shop. So the UK, the US, how do they compare or differ from Italy and Lombardy? In the UK, we tend to have central administration. Everything is dictated from the centre, from London, with very little regional difference. Obviously, the differences in Scotland and Northern Ireland exist. Wales tends to conform with England, but the different counties, regions of England all tend to follow what is done at a national level. In the USA, we have this battle between the state and the federal. Specifically, the best example being Mr. Cuomo, the governor of New York, who is consistently at odds, not in agreement with, at odds with Donald Trump. 1984, Big Brother. George Orwell in 1948 wrote 1984. He just mixed the two numbers. And we all know something about this book. Today it's famous for the phrase, Big Brother is watching you. In 2020, who is watching you? Google is watching you. Google, through tracing phones, has been assisting governments in their national policy by providing information on how people move through Android phones. So here we can see two graphs comparing 4 countries. So we're looking at the UK, the US, 5 countries, Spain, France and Italy, comparing how there has been a change in movement of people in different areas. The first graph we're looking at parks, the second graph we're looking at shopping. So what we can see is the European countries have actually applied the lockdown far more severely or far more effectively than the US and the UK. Later on we will see if this, in the next week or two, if this has a serious effect. So for today, to summarize, we've looked at the confirmation bias, we've looked at nonlinear, how these things come together to make it very difficult for leaders and politicians to act at the beginning. We've looked at Attilio Fontana in Lombardy and compared him to Cuomo in the USA, and we've looked at Big Brother or Google. Thank you very much. See you all tomorrow.